Hello, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our press conference today. We hope that you had a moment to read through the press conference guidelines so that to ensure an orderly flow for our Q&A. And thank you, Secretary Sharon Green, for joining us. We'll begin with DOE side. We have here Yusek Sales, Yusek Wimpy, as well as Directors Rino and Director Patrick of the DOE. Thank you.
Did I start, Mandy?
Yes, please. Thank you, Sec.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your presence today. And we are currently online because DOE is practicing work from home in order for us to help in saving fuel and electricity for the country, considering the current problems of the Middle East is not yet resolved. So, and the problems are still affecting us. So first off, I'd like to announce first, if you can flash the prices, Mandy. Today is the first day of the increase for this week. Can we flash the price for Metro Manila? So when we announce the price, it could vary depending on the area and of course on the brand of the gas station. And so these are estimates according to our calculations based on the maps. And as you can see, and so also it will be different if it's in Metro Manila or in a far-flung barangay or municipality in the country. So first of all, diesel will have about, depending on the type of gas, the range could be for gas it would be 8 to 12 pesos. The adjustment for today or for this week. Diesel will be 15 to 18 pesos. Diesel plus is 15 to 18 pesos and kerosene at 12 to 22 pesos. This is still a big jump, even though it is smaller than last week, but this is still a significant jump, considering that it will still affect our transportation industry as well as all industries, as well as the buying power of our households. The increase is still attributed to the events in the Middle East, but smaller increase comparatively compared to the 20 pesos last 2 weeks is because there has been a slowdown on the increase on the per barrel price in the international market. To address all this, I will not expound on the activities of the other agencies kasi po iba po yung nag-handle ng agencies as of but I do believe that they are already rolling out the fuel subsidy, the assistance to the drivers, to the farmers, fisher folks, and also assistance to, I think there will be a rollout of assistance to our households as well through the SWD. So they will announce or they can explain at the time convenient for them eventually. And on the other hand, we are DOE, the primary responsibility of DOE is on the supply side. Supply is still sufficient. It has not arrived at an alarming level. Because our regulations require 15 days, pero so far hindi po tayo bumababa ng 15 days. We are still at a very comfortable level. Mandy, you can flash the slide when you're ready. Just to reiterate what we've been announcing, what are we doing is, first is we monitor all the, can we go to the other slide, please? Mandy.
Yes,
Okay.
Wasek, we're sending the file over. Thank you.
Okay, so you
Sorry.
can take down the price, please. So ang ginagawa ngayon ng DOE is to make sure that the supply is steady. Ano? So one is we are campaigning for the demand management. Sana po magtipid yung mga tao, and we are hoping that that we can target at 50% savings on fuel and electricity. We are campaigning that with the government agencies, as well as all the encouraging also the encouraging also the private institutions. Yusek Wimpy and his team will explain that later. And then, or sila Patrick. And then we are also trying to push for more supplies to come in. Our companies are, for good news for this week, are able to confirm their orders and receive their orders actually this week and the following week. Okay, iba po dumating na this week. And so and then we are closely monitoring our companies. So far, wala pa namang alarming state sa kanila. Wala pang bumababa ng 15 days. And then what we are also doing is, although this is a private industry, the government, this is a liberalized industry, we are also working on trying to keep the supply also for the government to have a buffer. So ito po yung inventory natin ngayon. This is 45 days on average for the whole country, no? But if you go on product per product, there's gasoline. We have sufficient for gasoline at 53.14 days, diesel at 45.82 days, kerosene at 97.93 days, jet fuel at 38.62 days, and fuel oil at 61.49, and LPG at 23.51. Yan po yung status natin ngayon. If everybody remembers, the President announced that we had about 55 or 57 days during the start of the conflict. But now po, hindi po na ganun pa rin yung number of days natin, kasi may nadadagdag po ng mga deliveries po galing po sa ating mga supplier countries like Korea, Japan, even China. Lahat pa naman po ng mga suppliers ng oil companies natin have delivered as ordered by our oil companies. And then, so what else are we doing? We're also, through PNOC, we're doing the procurement of additional buffer. Hindi po madali po magkumuha ng buffer because it is very expensive. At currently po, we are trying to purchase 1 million barrels, and that's good enough only for 1 week for the country. And that will likely cost us about more than 10 billion pesos already for just 1 week of supply. So we are building our buffer despite the limitations, pero our team is hard at work in trying to make sure that kahit po isa o dalawang araw yan, that's a very important addition para lang sigurado po na our country does not run dry, no? Hindi tayo maubusan ng fuel. So far po, manageable pa po yung supply natin. PNOC currently has already contracted for about 400 barrels, and this week we are negotiating for another 600 barrels. We're trying to finish that for this week. So, and on the supply, yun po yung ginagawa namin, and then hopefully we can also appeal to the public na and our industries na wala pong profiteering and hoarding, because that will really affect the supply of the entire country. Not only the gas stations, pero yun po yung mga nangangailangan, they will be affected also, the industries po and the households. So um, ang so far yung price po, due to the oil deregulation law, we have been coordinating with the oil companies and we've been participating also. But Yusek Quimpi is the one in charge in making sure that there is no abuse on the part of the gas station. So yun po, multi-agency po yung involved dyan. So I'll first off, before we go on the questions and answers, ang isa pala sa supply, why we have been successful also in our supply, there has been close coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs and PNOC, DOE, even DTI, in order to make sure na to coordinate with our supplier countries. We are doing G2G dialogues to ensure that the supplies come in, and that has been successful also. So we're quite um, thankful that our efforts in contacting South Korea, India, even China, and Japan also has been quite successful kasi steady pa naman yung mga supply natin. So for that, I'll first turn over the reports muna with Wimpy. You want to go first?
Yes, Sec. You were here in the Senate. We're starting in 9:30. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Madam Secretary. Good morning to our DOE colleagues and sa ating mga kapatid dito sa media. First of all, no, thank you very much to our media brothers and sisters and the networks, because when we were able to go around and show the presence of government and how to on how to address the situation, you were there. And the objective really is how to make sure yung supply natin ay umaabot sa lahat ng gasolinahan at yung mga gasolinahan naman ay patas yung bibigay ng gobyerno sa ating
Wimpy, na-mute ka, Wimpy.
So yun nga, ngayon nakakalungkot na merong mga report no from the other agencies na katuwang natin tulad ng Philippine National Police that they observed that there were around 400 no na mga gasolinahan na nagsara. And this is suspected na magkaroon ng hoarding. And yun nga, pinapatingnan po natin sa Oil Industry Management Bureau para makita kung ano yung rason kung bakit nila sinara ang kanilang pagtinda. Kasama rin po natin yung mga local government units, yung ating local chief executives na nagbuo ng kanilang mga price monitoring teams. Hindi lamang tumitingin sa produktong petrolyo kundi sa iba't iba pang mga bilihin. So, yun nga po, ang coordination natin ay patuloy. Meron tayong mga ginagamit na mga batas para masiguro na masunod natin yung anti-hoarding and anti-profiteering na kampanya ng ating Pangulo at ng ating Secretary. Ito po yung paggamit ng Certificate of Compliance, whether or not sumusunod yung ating mga gasolinahan dito sa mga kondisyones na inilagay at pinataw na responsibilidad sa kanilang pagtitinda. Pangalawa po sa ating mga local government units, yung kanilang mga business permit. Meron naman po tayong mga ginagamit pang batas tulad ng sa trade and industry at saka sa Department of Energy Batas Pambansa 33 as amended by PD 1865. At uli po, yung mga containers po natin ay dapat safe. Meron po tayong pagbibigay ng prioridad sa mga mas nangangailangan at hindi pa naman tayo umaabot doon kasi maganda nga po, congratulations sa ating mga oil companies at sa PNOC no dahil patuloy naghahanap ng supply. At maganda po yata yung tulog ni Director Rino Abad this weekend no dahil pinakitang numbers ni Secretary ay talagang times 3 ay yung iba times 4 pa sa required ng 15 days. So ito po yung sinasabi ng Department of Energy, we are here. The objective is not to close the gasoline stations, but in fact, ang objective po natin, maging katuwang ang ating mga gasolinahan. Bukas ito, making the petroleum products available on the ground in every corner at patas po ang kanilang pag-ooperate para masiguro natin na patuloy po ang availability ng ating mga produkto. That's all for my end, Madam Secretary. The details on the enforcement will be given by the OIMB as regards the eGov PH reports, and then ano yung mga status nito, and sino yung mga dadagdagan ng show cause orders, sino yung mga for inspection, and the other actions including but not limited to filing of administrative or criminal cases. Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Are there any other reports from the team?
Rino?
Volunteer na kayo. I think we've reported Rino's part also. Are you okay? Yeah.
Hi, Secretary. Ma'am, we'll wait for the Q&A.
Okay.
No more to add.
Thank you. Thank you, Rino. And on the part of Patrick, are you here or wala siya?
Yes, good morning, Sec. Just to provide updates po dun sa mga kasamahan natin sa pamahalaan, marami pong salamat sa pagtalima sa naging direktiba po ng ating mahal na Pangulo sa ating MC 114. Base po sa nagawa na nating mga energy audits nationwide, umabot na po tayo sa mahigit 400 ahensya ang nating nabisita at na energy spot check. Ang average po na rating ng ating mga ahensya ay nasa 87%. At ang lumalabas po dito ang pinaka-epektibo na kagaya po nung minumungkahi ng ating mahal na kalihim, si Secretary, yung atin pong ginawang pag-work from home at yung compressed work week. Dito lang po sa DOE, magmula po nung pinaigting namin yung ating work from home, naobserbahan na po namin ang decrease sa ating electricity consumption, umabot na po ng mahigit 40%, 40%. Kaya po dun sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating po mga negosyo, kung nais po talaga nilang makabawas sa ating pagkonsumo, malaki pong bagay yung pag-switch po natin sa work from home at yung compressed work week. At kung mamarapatin lang, Sec, aanyayahan ko po ang ating mga nakikinig at nanonood. Sa Sabado po ay Earth Hour. Inaanyayahan po namin kayong mag-participate. Isang oras po ito, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Kung babalikan po natin, nung taong 2025, umabot po sa 161.98 megawatts ang natipid ng ating bansa. Ang ginagawa po natin sa Earth Hour ay nagpapatay po tayo ng ilaw para sa isang oras. At nakikita po lang yun, halimbawa lang yun, sa pagpatay lang po ng ating ilaw, ang laking tulong na po yun, bumababa ang ating demand. Kaya kagaya po ng paalala ni Secretary, kayang-kaya po nating pagtulungan ito, maiibsan natin yung ating demand, i-practice po natin ng energy efficiency, ang fuel efficiency, pasadahan po natin yung ating mga air conditioners, iset lang po sa 24 degrees Celsius, linisin po yung aircon filter, linisin po yung ating electric fan, bunutin ang mga hindi ginagamit na appliances, at para dun sa ating mga fuel efficiency, tips, available po ito sa ating DOE website. Pero ang unang-una talaga, i-check po natin ang gulong, hinay-hinay po sa pagmamaneho. Over to you, Sec.
Thank you, Patrick. Now, before the question and answer portion, again, we are the first directive of the President for DOE to make sure we have supply. And we are working hard on both sides, making sure that there is fuel in the country, and then at the same time, how do we make sure that we can conserve on it, because this problem can last 1 week or 6 months or 1 year. It's not very predictable as of today. So ang supply po sufficient siya, but if our behavior is still the same as before, kasi po how we calculate the 45 days or the 50 days or the how many days ang natitira is based on how much we have, and then we divide that on the historical consumption natin. So kung tataas po yan, iigsi po yung number of days natin. Kung steady lang siya, 45 days yan. Pero pag mag-conserve tayo or magtipid tayo sa konsumo natin sa gasolina, sa diesel at electricity, then the 45 days can even be 60 days. Kaya po kailangan po tulong-tulong po tayo sa buong bansa para po to make sure that our country is safe, that we have sufficient fuel, that pwede po tayo can go day to day in our day-to-day lives para po we make sure that our country can surpass this temporary crisis caused by the Middle East. So yun po. Mandy, who's going to moderate the question and answer?
Yes, so thank you, Sec, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's proceed with our Q&A. We'll combine some questions that have similar topic as well. So we have questions from Ms. Bernadette of the Daily Tribune and Mr. Ed of Manila Times on the supply buffer. So how many barrels of will be supplied, and how was this supply obtained as well through the source? Thank you.
Okay, so supply, the estimate is 1 billion barrels is good enough for 1 million barrels is good enough for 5 days for the country. Ano pa yung isang tanong? So, what was the other question? Sorry.
440,000 and the 600,000, that would be.
That's 400,000 barrels, and finished already with the transaction, and then this week po another 600. So sinisigurado din na tama ang sourcing natin kasi we want to diversify. Yun nga ang kailangan po hindi lang parehong country ang kinukunan natin. So the objective is to make sure that we have other suppliers para someday when one area of the region of the world gets affected, at least meron tayong ibang suppliers. That's 400,000 and 600,000 barrels.
Okay, in line with that, we have some follow-up questions on where these barrels will be sourced from.
Right now, the first 400 will be sourced in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia, and the other 600 will be outside the Southeast Asian region. I just don't want to preempt muna kasi under negotiations pa siya, no? But yun po, iniiba-iba namin yung sourcing.
Thank you. We also have a question from Asahi Shimbun. Can you expound what discussions we've had with Japan, and if anything was agreed on? Thank you.
We've made contact, or we met with also the Japanese embassy here in Manila, and also our ambassadors in Japan are also hard at work on this. But our dialogue is focused on making sure that the long-term contracts of our companies are honored, and then that incoming orders also we're asking to be accommodated kasi matagal na natin kasing mga partners to ang Japan in the supply of fuel here in the Philippines, and we're just checking na if the supplies are coming in, and also negotiating for more supplies. So very accommodating naman in Japan. We're grateful for the good relationship of Japan and Philippines kasi this has been a long-standing relationship in terms of economics, politically, and also diplomatically, no, magandang relationship natin. So they're also they understand your situation, but we also understand your situation. Kaya there was a good conversation with dialogue with Japan also. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have here raised hand, Mr. Ted of GMA News. Go ahead. You can unmute.
Hi, Sec. Good morning.
Morning.
Clarify ko lang yung in-order natin na 400 and 600,000 barrels for buffer stocking. Tapos through PNOC po ba to?
Correct. Buffer stock lang yan kasi yung mga companies naman natin do not need it as of now kasi sufficient pa naman up to 40 days or 45 days ang supply natin. So eto buffer lang. We're trying to build it up na para lang meron tayong reserba. Hindi siya malaki pero we need to build it up just in case para lang meron tayong reserva. It's better to have little than nothing at all.
So in total 1,000 ay ano? 1 million barrels.
Ang
Good
target,
for 4 days.
minimum, yes, minimum na target ng PNOC is 1 million barrels.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. We also have a question from Mr. Alvin El Chico. Thank you. You can unmute.
Sec,
Good morning.
good morning, Sec. Sec, pa-clarify lang yung kung ilan na ngayon yung current supply. Sabi mo kasi sa akin last time is until first week of May. That was last week, ano? What about now? Hanggang saan tatagal yung current supply, excluding the buffer?
Let's say 45 days siya. Ano 45 ba? 54 days. What was there again, Rino?
That's 45 days, ma'am, counted from March 20, as of end of 20, March 20 inventory.
So 21, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. So April is 30 days, Alvin.
Yeah.
And then we have the 2 weeks of the 1.5 weeks of March, which is 22 to 31, mga 10 days siya, di ba? 10 days plus 30, that's 40. So we're reaching about first week of May.
So ganun pa rin. As we speak, as of March 24, 2026, we have existing supply, nandito na yan sa bansa, to last until first week of May.
Correct.
Tama.
Kasi ano yan umiikot kasi siya. We consume, we order, we consume, we order, no? So steady pa naman siya.
Plus yung 1 billion na paparating kamo, which is equivalent to 5 days. So pwede na nating masabi na kampante tayo ng second week of May, mukhang mako-cover.
Yes, basta wala lang hoarding and profiteering. What is the limitation as of today is because this is a deregulated industry. So nangyayari niyan, we are dependent on the private. So the private can only buy so much because that's also cash, like I said, if you want to have a 5-day supply, you need to have about 10 billion pesos. And then also the limitation on the cash, and the other limitation is the storage. So hindi rin sila pwedeng mag-store good for how many months because we don't have the capacity to do that.
Okay, follow up lang, yung Makati Business Club through Chairman Edgar Chua said in an interview kaninang umaga, maybe it's wise daw to identify na at this point sino ang magiging priority sa fuel supply just in case na umabot tayo sa punto na medyo alanganin na yung supply. Kumbaga this early, dapat alam na natin sino ang priority natin sakaling umabot tayo doon. What do you think?
Correct. DOE is actually in coordination with DTI, and as I always say, we are quite comfortable today, but we should always prepare for the worst. So yesterday, with our conversation with the DTI, with Secretary Roque, na we need to we're starting dialogues now with all the industries, whether it's beverages, restaurants, para i-plan out. Plan out there, tell them how it is today, as we mentioned today, but how do we prepare? Let's not wait for May and realize something is wrong and then we do something. Para ma-avoid yan, kailangan we do our own share of preserving our supply, but also at the same time, we prepare lang. So we're doing that already, and I think it will be done through consultations with the industries, with DTI and DOE.
But offhand, ma'am, sino pong priority doon? Nasaan banda kami doon? Yung mga ordinaryong motorista, nasaan banda doon sa priority? I suppose hindi priority yung motorista, no? Priority will be what? Industries, hospitals or paano ba yung hierarchy ng priority?
Wala pang playbook in that sense, Alvin, but I think the one priority for when we talk about diesel, or fuel, would be the transport system. Transport talaga, because that's not just majority, most Filipinos use public transport, and we have to make sure that that's running, whether it's sea, air, or land transportation.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you. And we also have Mr. Joseph of GMA raising his hand. You can unmute. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joseph Pasa, GMA 7. Ma'am, regarding our supply, you have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 countries that we are sourcing our oil from, no? Would you say po that these
Yes.
countries will be consistent in supplying the Philippines our oil for several months?
We have made contact with them, whether through the Department of Foreign Affairs or through their ambassadors here, or even direct calls to their ministers. We have been assured by these countries on the consistency of their supply, as far as the existing contracts or the long-term contracts that our oil companies have. That is given that the situation is, we have to understand also their situation, but so far, how it is today, they've assured us that on the deliveries of our orders.
Kasi ma'am, what's going to happen po after maybe May, second week of May, when we've consumed our supply?
We constantly order naman, no? It's not like naghihintay sila and then tsaka na lang sila mag-order. Actually, by now already, they've sent out all their orders, and we've also followed that up through diplomatic channels. Tuloy-tuloy lang ang pag-order natin. Now, I guess what you're saying is, what if they decide not to deliver to us for the May batch, that's why the diplomatic team natin, and also DOE, PNOC, are doing the diversification of sources. So we're also talking to Canada, North America, South America, Australia, para meron tayong mga choices. May limitations lang yan in terms of lead time for delivery, but we are trying to diversify.
So wala po tayong scenario na by after second week of May parang zero tayo, walang gano'n naman, ma'am.
We're really working hard to avoid that, no? It depends on what happens in the Middle East and all the other countries. But yes, so far, how it is, the pace of our orders and the results of our efforts, we don't envision that as of today.
Ma'am, kanina you used the word already, temporary crisis. From the DOE level, are we considering this already an oil crisis? Or at what point do we consider this as a crisis?
Crisis in the Middle East, pero I'm not sure I haven't followed the news very well, but I think there was a debate on whether this is a crisis or not.
Correct.
For DOE kasi we are all hands on deck naman, whatever is the semantics for us, we are really in Yusek Afendebelia is the one doing the implementation, and full force yan, his whole team, and with PNP and the DILG and everyone else. Same with PNOC and the DOE for procurement. Kaya whether you call it a crisis or not, we're really doing the maximum that we could do in order to make sure that we don't run dry, and then all our oil companies are delivering what they're supposed to deliver. So if you call, I don't actually know the difference, that why is there a debate, but we're taking this very seriously, actually. For DOE, whatever you call that, we are maximizing our resources. even going beyond what is mandated for DOE. Pero it's not something that we determine our efforts depending on how we call it. Kasi talagang wala nang tulugan to sa DOE kahit man tawagin niyo yung crisis or hindi siya crisis.
Ma'am, last na lang, yung mga airlines, specifically yung Cebu Pac, nagbawas na ng mga flights nila. Is that an indication of a lack of supply or something else? Should we be worried na
It's
baka mamaya mawala na tayong by summer season, mawala yung mga flights? Paano ba yan?
Hindi, I don't think so because they have orders coming. We just met them yesterday actually at 6 p.m. And they have orders coming in. They've had a few hitches lang on the order kasi they had to change their supplier countries, ano. But so far naman, we met them because we wanted to know if they need help in procuring. But so far they have assured us they're okay. But so I think the issue is on the price because if you I have heard that it's in tens of thousands now going outside the country, in tickets. So the constraint on the price also puts pressure on the operations of the companies. So baka yun yung po yung consideration. Maybe I wouldn't be the one to ask about this, but yan yung assumption na based on the fuel issue right now.
All right. Thank you, Sec. Regards to Sec Wimpy.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Rino.
Ay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ma'am, may message daw kayo sa Viber, ma'am.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Can I just add something about the nomenclature kung crisis or not habang nagbabasa si Sec? Okay, yung binanggit po ni Secretary na inventory levels, it's really beyond the minimum inventory requirement. So ang binabantayan po natin, that's why it's extraordinary. Sa labas po ng bansa, parang wala siyang solusyon. Pero dito po sa loob, dahil nag-a-adjust din yung ibang parte ng mundo, marami po tayong mga nakikitang solusyon. So sa tingin ko po, hindi talaga siya crisis. Yung ano yan ma'am, National Oil Contingency Plan pero needs to be finalized po.
All right. Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Wimpy. Thank you. Next, Mandy.
Yes, we have a number of questions about securing oil and gas from Russia from Ms. Montef, NHK Japan, Mr. Gomez of AP, and Mr. Makababad of Philippine Star. Has the Philippines taken steps to possibly secure oil and gas from Russia? Secondly, how are negotiations with China? Thank you.
There is a window. There is a window for us to while there's an embargo, but there's a window, an exception. So there are conditions in purchasing or procuring from Russia. So as long as the conditions are complied with, pwede pong kumuha sa Russia, and then that's still open. There are feelers, let's say, no, from suppliers and also from traders, and we haven't contracted as of today, but there are also offers. So hindi pa po na finalize yung mga yan. We'll update you if we do get supply from Russia. Pero so far, as far as PNOC is concerned, wala pang na-lock in supply from there. But on the other hand, I cannot speak for our oil companies because sila rin naghanap din ng sarili nilang supply.
Thank you, Sec. And from Manila Standard, Miss Elena, some oil companies have put a cap on the amount of fuel, for example, 1,000 pesos maximum per vehicle, or in some maximum capacity of 20 liters. What can the DOE say about this type of action?
Wims, you want to answer this, Wimpy?
Yes. Okay, the test is reasonableness. So even the local government units or the PNP can inquire kung ano yung level ng inventaryo, bakit tayo nagli-limit per vehicle. So if we see reasonableness, rationable ba ito dahil yung pagdating ng next delivery ay ganito pa. So pwede po yun. Ang importante lamang po, we have to have this degree of trust and honesty sa bawat isa. So, binubuksan po yung inventory para makita kung rasyonable po ba ito. Pero kung nagpapasara yung gasolinahan na meron naman siyang laman, yun po ay may issue sa hoarding. Kaya po yun din, rasyonable po ba ito? Yun po yung tinitingnan natin para mabigyan ng karapat-dapat na kaso, whether administrative or criminal case. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We have a number of questions also about DOE's monitoring efforts from Mr. Emprido of Abante Radio, as well as Mr. Custodio of Brigada. The PNP stated yesterday that around 400 gasoline stations around the country have been closed. Does the DOE have any comment on this, as well as if these closed because of profiteering?
Wimpy, go ahead.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, no? So yung mga issues ng possible profiteering or yung hindi malaman kung bakit nagsara bigla yung gasolinahan, yun po yung pinapatingnan natin sa Oil Industry Management Bureau natin. At pag nakita po natin hindi ito rationable, again, temporary or permanent cancellation of the Certificate of Compliance. Ibig sabihin po niyan, pwede siyang masarado talaga. So, ang hinihingi po natin is partnership and cooperation among all our traders and our gasoline stations. So yun po, we have to open their inventory, we have to investigate, we will give them the opportunity to explain because again, the objective is not to close gasoline stations. In fact, we have to have them operational so that yung petroleum products will be available doon sa ating mga ospital, sa ating mga nangangailangan na sa transport sector doon sa mga malalayong lugar at patuloy po at normal yung pagtakbo ng ating ekonomiya. Thank you.
Randy?
So we have a question from Mr. Low of Al Jazeera. The Customs Commissioner, Ariel Nepomuceno, said oil shipments are still arriving as scheduled because there are the ones that were already in transit before the war started. But the shipments may slow down if the conflicts drag on. What is the DOE's response or assessment on this?
Shipments are coming in, even those that were sent out after the start of the war. So tuloy-tuloy po yung shipments. We are doing all diplomatic channels, all our contacts. PNOC is also reaching out to all suppliers and traders. So consistent po. Ang delivery kasi only takes 1 week if it's in Southeast Asia, and some are arriving today. So they've been shipped out even after the commencement of the conflict in the Middle East.
Thank you. And we have a question from Radio Pilipinas, Mr. Toledo, asking about the crisis committee that President Marcos ordered. What is the role of the DOE in this committee? And has it been discussed? Thank you.
Ang role, front and center. Pero no, I haven't seen the draft yet, but I think there is a document being prepared. Mga last week pa yan na actually ko nakita. Pero I can't preempt naman kung ano yung issuance ng presidente. So there is already a draft for that. But having said that, despite not having it today, the agencies are actually already doing what they're supposed to do, whether it's DSWD, DOTR, DA, DFA, lahat po, even the Office of the Executive Secretary, lahat po sila, they've been already given instructions and they're doing what they're supposed to do. So, baka formality na lang yun, yung crisis committee, but we are actually regularly meeting since the start of this conflict in Iran. So tuloy-tuloy po yan. That's the directive of the president. Kailangan talaga price despite the fact that we cannot control, we can soften the blow among our people. So tuloy-tuloy po yung mga agencies.
Thank you.
All right.
We have another question. We have a question from Miss Galang of Manila Bulletin. For the Euro 2 introduction, until when is the implementation, and is the market ready for this?
Okay, the Euro 2, I'll simply Euro 4 tayo. So Euro 2 ang mas madumi na fuel So what's the problem there? It will be a dirtier fuel, let's say. But as we have observed in the international market as of today, it's not significantly yung how do you call that, the emissions the environmental impact niya is not as big as some people portray. I can't say the technical description, Rino, mamaya, if you can help me with that. And the other one is that's more available in the international market today. That is a reserve action, that action that we are reserving in case we have difficulty in getting the better fuel, let's say, na. So ito po kasi when we were talking to our oil companies and all our traders, yun po yung observation nila, that if we are willing, there could be available Euro 2. But so far po, hindi po na-activate pa yan kasi mukhang steady naman yung supply natin. That's a contingency that we are preparing, and we haven't implemented that yet. Go ahead, Rina. Rina?
Sec, to add dun sa Euro 2, the specifications of Euro 4 versus Euro 2, isa lang naman ho ang properties na nagkaiba dyan, which is the sulfur from 50 ppm ng Euro 4 naging 500 ppm. So therefore, ang atin hong ina-avoid dyan ay ipagamit lang ho ang Euro 4 sa mga Euro 2, sa Euro 2 ng mga vehicles which are just modeled from 2015 and below. Including ho yung mga jeepney natin at saka mga trucks, no? At of course, we are also looking at gensets and of course mga boilers. So may mga market to siya na targeted, but these are also equipments that have been using Euro 2 before. So hindi ho lahat ng properties ginalaw dyan. Ang nagalaw lang ho from 50 ppm, bumaba lang ho, tumaas lang ho tayo to 500 ppm na sulfur.
Okay. So alternative lang yan, just in case we're just preparing for the worst. As again, I said, we're preparing for the worst, and these are measures that we have indicated that are temporarily in place para lang may alternative tayo. We're avoiding any scenario, and we have to be prepared for that.
Thank you. We also have another question from Ms. Lema of Reuters. President Marcos said in a video message on Sunday that the government is talking to India, China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, and Brunei about possible fuel supply arrangements. Could you update us on the current stage of these discussions and any details on fuel volumes the Philippines is looking at?
We have a few issues that we take up whenever we do dialogues with them. All these countries naman are on the countries that we have existing orders and future orders due to, let's say, long-term contracts of our oil companies. We have had assurances ng all these countries that the supply will be steady. In addition to that, we have asked for supply also for PNOC, and some are still checking with their principals or their companies and the availability. So far po, it's still under discussion pa. All these countries actually.
Ma'am, permission lang. We're about to start sa
Thank
hearing.
you, thank you, thank you.
Kami ni Yusek Sales, exit na po kami. Si Rino
Okay.
nasa labas pa yata.
Okay, sino
Okay.
na lang. Thank you.
Kaming,
Andito na rin ako, Sec.
ayan na.
Wag
Dito
ka
na kami
muna,
tatlo.
dito ka lang
Kasi
muna,
hindi
Rino.
extended lang.
Rino, doon ka daw.
Sige. Okay. Okay, Sec.
Sige,
Okay,
kami
Sec.
muna. Thank you. Bye. Bye everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We've gone through we're taking last few questions na lang po, and we've gone through the first round as well. If we have a yes, go ahead, Zach.
There's a few follow-ups on the Euro 2. Kailan, once we see that the the international supply is tight, then we'll take into consideration. We're preparing lang, we're already assessing what companies what equipments are possible users of Euro 2. Pero ina-assess namin kung ano yung volume and what are the transport and what are the gensets that pwede. So, kina-quantify pa namin ngayon. And it hasn't been activated pa. And then on the other hand, it's are there local reserves? I think what the objective of this is to import, no, in case it will be necessary. So far hindi pa naman. So tinitignan pa lang yan. Pero you know that issuances take time, no? At least 15 days or 30 days. Kaya nagpre-prepare lang kami all the temporary measures. Again, we're doing all this in order for us not to be left with the worst case scenario.
Okay, we'll take one question from Ms. Pam Castro of AFP.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, you sent us a message yesterday telling us that we are ramping up cheaper oil. In what way is the Philippines doing that? And also, are we planning to buy more? Are we planning to buy more coal? If so, where are we buying it from? And are we buying clean coal? Also, just for the record, in terms of percentage, how much are we reliant on coal in power generation? And since we are ramping up cheaper coal, how much more will be added to in that percentage?
One question ka lang pero dami-dami. All right. Okay. I'll explain na lang in general. So, what's the other problem we are facing because of the oil price hike? It's also on electricity. Electricity is we produce electricity here in the Philippines using different types of fuel. So we have renewable energy, we have diesel, coal, malampaya, natural gas, LNG, the imported na gas. So it's a combination. Around almost like 60% is coal and imported also. So what is because of this oil price hike, the prices of diesel and LNG, which is the imported natural gas, liquefied natural gas, all went up. Aakyat siya. And what's the effect? It will increase the generation cost and increase the electricity rates. As of 3 weeks ago, the initial week of the conflict in Middle East, there was we've simulated, and there was supposed to be like a 16% more or less increase in the price of electricity, especially in the Meralco area, because LNG is a supplier. We use LNG for some part of the Meralco generation. So let's say it increases because of diesel and LNG. Then what we have been studying this for 2 weeks, headed by Yusa Guevara and ERC, PNOC, ERC, IMAP, everyone else, no? How do we keep it from going up? Why do we just not let the market forces decide on what the ultimate price will be? Because I think for the president, it's already too painful na, no? High price on fuel, tapos mag-i-increase ka pa ng electricity rates. The effect is the constraints on the budget of each household, as well as the constraint on our economy. It will affect the our trade, our economy, lahat-lahat po. Even the basic services of the government. So, in simple terms lang, in simple lang, so ibaba natin yung generation ng mahal and then iakyat muna natin yung mas mura. So ang mahal is diesel and LNG. We try to control that and then increase natin ang renewable and coal. No? How do we do that? We have talked to ERC on the manner on how it should be implemented on the coal side. We met with the Indonesia ambassador, and we made contact with Indonesia to assure us of our steady supply of coal. And also, we talked to the generation companies, coal-fired power plants, to check how much they can increase their generation. So, ayan po, in coordination with them, and also trying to solicit their support on this temporary measure para hindi po may impact sa mga tao. RE, Wimpy, Mario, our undersecretaries are working hard so that all the RE projects that are supposed to come in late this year, pinapa-advance po namin this quarter. Kaya medyo meron na po about out of the 900 or so megawatts, mag-a-advance po by this month or next month or this April, around minimum mga 300 megawatts para ma-advance siya. So we're balancing it, and this is a temporary measure in a sense that we have also to respect the contractual obligations, no, and rights of these companies. But we've met them and they're willing naman to participate in this temporary measure that we're trying to impose or to start by April 1.
So, follow up po. So, we're planning to buy, if ever, more coal from Indonesia po.
It will depend on what is the additional requirement they will have once we have the whole design set up, ano. Maybe it's not necessary because may stock naman sila, or but we also have our own coal with certain limitations on sinong pwedeng gumamit doon. So maybe it will be necessary, maybe it won't, but we have to see pa on how this will pan out, ano. Coal, there's no restriction naman on our importation of coal from Indonesia as of today.
Last question na lang po talaga, promise. So, since, yun nga po, so if ever, pwede na po ba nating masabi as of this time kung how much more percentage, in terms of percentage ng coal ang ating idadagdag pa sa coal use in power generation po?
We have to, I can I can give it to you once it's in place na, kasi medyo ano yan case to case yan on how the market will react, ano. But what I can say lang is that if we are successful in implementing this, at least mababawasan sana yung increase, no, yung increase ng electricity rates because of the conflict in the Middle East. Sana we're targeting na mabawasan siya by 2 pesos ang increase niya.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Okay, we'll take a question from the raised hand, Mr. Joseph of GMA7. Last question na talaga ako.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. Last batch. Ma'am, may nabanggit lang si Yusek Wimpy, National Contingency Plan. Is that new release, and can you give us some details about it?
There are contingency plans every administration.
Pero ito, ma'am, ano ba to? Bagong gawa ba to? Bagong lineup?
No, that's from the previous. There are contingency plans on what, like your question earlier, for example, on how to do the prioritization. But I don't want to dwell on that right now because we need to a thorough review, because also the circumstances change, and ang kailangan kasi i-review namin based on how the setup of the oil, the regulation, how our companies are set up. So we've assigned already a team to review this and to make a new how do you call that, targeting of our energy security, our energy sovereignty, no? So yun po, we're just trying to wrap this up, and we can discuss this once we're finished with the plan with the final version.
Ma'am, can I just say na you've drawn up a national contingency plan as of when? Kailan yan drawn up?
I don't know. I can't tell you the date. I have to check on which administration this was drafted. I assume it
Okay.
was in the previous one.
Parang ina-activate lang siya, ma'am.
Ma-activate lang siya. Well, actually, it's already activated. We're already doing most of the dito, the steps that that's been included there. Pero kailangan lang talaga may konting revision. So that's why I don't want to expound on it yet. No?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Well, for the sake of time, we'll just take the last one sa naka-raise hand po. Go ahead, Reuters, Miss Lemma.
Hi, Secretary. Just a quick question about the coal. You said that you spoke with the Indonesian ambassador. Was that a recent conversation? And you said that you're trying to get assurance that they will not, that they'll ensure a coal supply to the Philippines. And did you get that assurance?
If you've seen in the news, there were a few reports that said there might be closure or stoppage of the exports, but those talks have been popping up every once in a while that Indonesia might restrict exports, and I think there was one rumor back in January, and so that's why we were just making sure that we have enough supply. We've checked with the ambassador and also our post there with the DFA. Wala pa namang restrictions, and there's no plan naman to limit our order. It's more of a question of they will adjust their price, in which we are observing as of now. When was the meeting? About 2 weeks ago.
So, may explicit assurance po from them?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But you know what? We have assurance naman. We're good partners with Indonesia. We have a long-standing trade relationship with Indonesia. But at the same time, our companies, we've been discussing with them, is to assess their power plants and how much local coal also can they maximize in utilizing, because we also have local resources, and that's part of the contingency plans that we're drafting now. Kung paano natin to make ourselves more sufficient in case of any trouble in any country supplier natin.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, last two, Sir Bricks of Philippine Star. You can unmute now.
From the Philippine Star. Sir, sa question ko lang po, tama po ba yung adjustment this week ay walang staggering? One-time price hike lang po. And may nabigay po ba yung mga oil companies na reason kung bakit hindi na
All right. On the staggering, I'm drawing up the list. I'll tell you like two companies that have that plan to stagger. The rest we are still collating. One is Caltex. They're staggering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days ang staggering nila. Like for today, they'll charge 2 pesos more, and then next day 3 pesos more, and then next day 4 pesos more. And that pacing nila on diesel. And then on Total, for example, they stagger for 2 days. So the rest we're still collating, awaiting for their reports.
Ma'am, pero for other oil companies, like yung mga oil giants, na like Sea Oil and Shell, and Petron, ma'am, bakit hindi sila mag-stagger?
Staggering, staggering is financial consideration, kasi you give up part of what you're supposed to charge, no. There are true enough, there are less and less companies that are staggering now. Kasi medyo umaakyat yung financial burden sa kanila. They have to buy very expensive fuel in order for them to have sufficient supply, no. So heavy din sa kanila. Although I didn't mention the other companies, it's not because the rest are not doing it. We just haven't received any of the reports as of this weekend. So hinihintay po, we'll update you if there are more. Pero wala pa kaming na-receive. Siguro dahil medyo nagka-busy din yung mga tao sa DOE and the oil companies because of this problem. But we'll update once we have it completed.
Okay, lastly, Mr. El Chico of DZMM, go ahead.
Sek,
Morning.
Sek, doon lang sa orders, di ba meron tayong 1 million? Pero yung under the pipeline, yung tinatrabaho pa, gaano pa karami yun? Yung hindi pa tayo sure, pero ginagawa na natin ng paraan, how much more orders are we doing?
Well, as mentioned by the DOE Secretary Go, maximum of 2 million. So we're pushing, no? Trying to, alam mo, hindi naman ganun lang yan na may mag-offer, tanggapin lang kaagad ng PNOC. Binibet pa nila kasi marami din kasing gustong magbenta na hindi ka rin sigurado kung darating. So we have to make sure that these are legitimate traders or companies. So ang maximum namin is 2 million, minimum would be 1 million.
And how much is the government spending for 2 million barrels of diesel? Magkano lahat yun?
We're reserving about 20, but
20
billion
pesos.
Correct. It's very expensive, no? Sobrang mahal siya. But what eventually will happen is we sell also the buffer. Diba? So we can use the money to buy more also. So hopefully it stays at that amount lang, Alvin. Kasi we're not in the business naman for retail of gas or to sell gas. We're just doing this for buffering. Pero if we need to order more, that's probably because we need to supply to the oil companies also. So umiikot-ikot lang siya.
Okay. One last, yung sa social media lang, kasi nag-trending din yun, may pinakitang graph doon na pinakamalaki ang increase sa Philippines kumpara sa ibang Asian neighbors natin. As in, sobrang laki, almost 100% as of last week, not considering the increase for today. I know nasagot mo na, pero anong paliwanag for the benefit ng mga ordinaryong tao? Bakit ganun? Bakit sobrang laki ng itinalon sa atin kumpara sa ibang bansa?
Tayo po, our country kasi, first off, many of these countries have subsidies, no? Sabihin, parang siya-subsidize nila yung presyo. Pag bumibili ka sa gas station, may binabayaran yung gobyerno dyan para hindi ganun kataas yung presyo ng nabibilin mo. Thailand, I think, has subsidies, even Malaysia and Indonesia, no? And then second is wala po tayong mga indigenous source. We don't have oil in this country. Maliit lang, konti lang siya. And so we import most of it. About 99% of ang ginagamit po natin sa mga sasakyan natin, galing po ibang bansa yan. So we don't have control of the supply as well as of the price. And second po, we have many of our this is an unregulated industry because of all the regulation. So we leave it to the companies also to determine the price with the proper pegging sa maps, sa presyo ng international. Pero government does not dictate the price. So it is competition among the companies ang nagde-determine, nagpapababa ng presyo. So this added to all the factors na, let's say, we also charge excise and VAT and all the others. So then they increase talaga. So there are reforms, substantial long-term reforms that we need to do in the oil industry. But right now, this is what we have. No, there's needs to be legislative action if we want more control over the price.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our Q&A. Thank you to our friends of the press for joining today.
All right.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you. We'll
Thank you,
continue.
Sec. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Sec. Thank you to the members of the media.